Is your relationship unhealthy, or is it just you? Guys, there's so much information on the internet showing you all of the signs of an unhealthy relationship, but that stuff is confusing. I mean, is your anxiety because the relationship is unhealthy, or is it just because you're an anxious person? Is your lack of trust for your partner, is it because they're truly untrustworthy and it's an unhealthy relationship? Or is it because you were hurt in the past and you're not giving them a fair chance? Right? Trying to sort through all of these signs of an unhealthy relationship can drive you crazy. So instead of doing that, I want to give you 2 mindset shifts that are going to help you approach this problem from a totally different light and bring a lot more clarity to help you understand what's really going on. So the first mindset shift is, instead of rejecting your emotion, whether it's anxiety or anger or jealousy, get curious about it. Right? Instead of trying to get away from it or just blaming your partner for creating it, I want you to explore what it is and where is it really coming from. So why are you anxious? How does anger feel in your body? What thoughts are creating your jealousy? And if this seems a little daunting and you're like, well, I'm just anxious because they didn't call and they said they were going to call, I have a couple of questions you can ask yourself that are going to help. So when your partner does something that makes you feel anxious, like they don't call, I want you to ask yourself, what am I making that mean? What are you making it mean about you or about them or about the relationship? And then I want you to take that even deeper with another question. Why is that a problem? So I'm going to show you some examples of how this might work. So if your partner comes home late from work and doesn't tell you why and didn't give you any heads up and you're feeling anxious about it, you might just say, well, they didn't call, so I feel anxious. Okay, great, good start. What are you making that mean? Maybe you're making it mean that they're seeing somebody else, right? Maybe they're cheating on you and that's why they didn't come home. Okay, great. I'm anxious because I think they're seeing somebody else. Why is that a problem, right? That's the second question. Why is that a problem? Okay, why is it a problem? And you might be like, well, it's obvious if they're cheating on me, that's a problem. But question your brain. Why is that a problem for you? Is it because maybe they're going to leave you, right? The relationship's going to be over. Okay, great. Why is that a problem? Keep taking it deeper until you get to the core. What often comes out in this line of thinking is like, well, they're cheating on me. That's a problem because they might leave me. If they leave me, that means that I'm not worthy of love, or I wasn't good enough and they had to choose somebody else. There's usually a self-judgment, some kind of negative self-talk underlying that anxiety. So when you really drill it down, I'm anxious because they came home late and didn't call. It's actually, I'm anxious because I'm afraid I'm not good enough, or that they think I'm not good enough, right? That's the real root of that anxiety, is that belief, that inner self-doubt. Here's another example: is maybe you ask them to do the dishes, right? Like 10 times because it's important to you, and they just don't. The dishes are piled up in the sink all the time. You're really busy. You feel like they're not helping, and you feel frustrated or angry. And if I ask you, okay, well, why do you feel angry? Because my partner didn't do the dishes again, even though I asked 100 times. Great. What are you making that mean? Maybe you're making it mean that they're not contributing to the relationship as much as you do. Great. Why is that a problem? Why is it a problem if they don't contribute as much as you do? Again, your brain's going to be like, well, duh, they're supposed to contribute. Question your brain. Why? What are the beliefs underlying that? Why is that a problem? Maybe it means that they don't respect you, right? It's a problem. If they're not contributing as much, it's because they don't respect me. Great. Why is that a problem? Well, if they don't respect me, then this is an unhealthy relationship, right? I've read it in all those lists, a lack of respect. Okay, so why is it a problem if your relationship is unhealthy? Maybe you have a belief, something like, if the relationship is unhealthy, then I'm supposed to leave, but I love this person and I don't want to leave. So now you have this inner conflict going on between what you think you should do because of their action, what their action means about you and how they feel about you, and what you want to do. So you're finding that this inner conflict is actually creating that anger, that you feel like you should leave them, but you don't want to. And that's where your anger is coming from. So I want to encourage you, instead of just blaming your partner for your feelings or wondering, well, I feel anxious and I feel angry. Is this unhealthy, or is there something wrong with me? Ditch both of those ideas. What if it's not the relationship that's unhealthy? And what if it's not you that's the problem? What if you just get curious and want to find out, well, what are the beliefs behind these emotions I'm experiencing? Get curious, dig in, question, and get to the root of it. Because are those thoughts, are those beliefs serving you is ultimately an important question. The second mindset shift that I want you to make is to consider the concept of a healthy versus an unhealthy relationship. I want you to consider that this is just a concept. This is just a belief. It is just a thought, right? It is a thought that a relationship is healthy or unhealthy. It is not something that is objectively true. So when you're reading through those lists and you're trying to decide, is this unhealthy or healthy, there's no way to objectively know, right? You could get a bunch of people to agree with you that it's unhealthy, but then there's some other people who might totally disagree with you. And there's not going to be like some magical letter from the universe ultimately telling you if it's healthy or unhealthy. Like there's no absolute. That is a human construct. It is a thought we came up with, an idea we came up with out of our own little human brains, right? It is a thought. It's a thought many people might agree on, but it is still a thought. The objective truth is that any relationship is an interaction between two people with two human brains, human thoughts, and human feelings. That's what a relationship is. The label of healthy or unhealthy is a thought. And that thought may or may not serve you because you might find yourself spending so much time and energy trying to prove that it's one thing or the other. Why is it so important to know? Because you're trying to figure out if you should stay in this relationship or not, right? You want there to be an answer, or right or wrong, stay or leave. What is going to make you happy? Should you stay or should you leave? But there is no right or wrong answer. You can leave any relationship at any time for any reason, and you can stay in any relationship for any reason. You always have that choice. There is no right or wrong answer because neither the staying nor the leaving is going to make you happy. That's what most of us are looking for. We're like, well, is it unhealthy? Because if it's unhealthy, I'm not going to be happy and I better leave and find a healthy one. But if it is healthy, well, then there's a chance I could be happy if I just fix whatever's wrong with me, creating this anxiety and the anger. None of that's going to work for you. The only thing that is going to make you happy is doing the work on your own thoughts and feelings because another person cannot make you happy. The relationship cannot make you happy. There is no should, right? Stay or go. Either way, the way to happiness is to understand your own brain, to understand how your thoughts are creating your feelings, and then put some intention in there and start intentionally thinking in ways that create the feelings you want to experience more. So I work with people who want to enjoy relationships with other people more. Most people, most coaches or therapists who do the kind of work I do, this relationship coaching, most of them focus on interpersonal skills, like improving your communication with your partner or learning how to recognize red flags, like things like a bad relationship or a toxic or narcissistic partner, right? That's what most coaches and therapists do, or help you either learn to communicate better so you can get what you want from the other person to make you happy, or learn how to recognize that you're in a relationship you shouldn't be in and get out of it and find a better one. But those strategies never work fully. They don't solve any problems. They're like putting on a Band-Aid, because ultimately, if you're just trying to communicate better so that your partner understands your needs and can give you what you want, you're still relying on them to make you feel good. If you're trying to figure out if your relationship is unhealthy so that you can get out of it and find a healthy one, you are still looking for another person who's going to make you feel good. But ultimately, whenever you rely on another person, you're going to get into trouble because you're going to be let down at some point, right? The number one cause of anxiety is trying to control something you cannot control. And you guys, we cannot control other people. It would be amazing if we could, right? Everything would be just so much easier if we could just control everyone else around us. We can't do it, right? We've all tried, I'm sure. So if you're dependent on somebody else, something you cannot control, to make you feel good, you're always going to feel anxious, right? You're never going to be able to feel good because you're always going to be worried that they're not going to do it. They're not going to do the right things, say the right things that you need in order to feel good. So this is why I do things a little bit differently. I help my clients discover the superpower they didn't know they had. And the thing is, you have it too. The superpower is the realization, the deep understanding that your thoughts create your feelings and not other people. Why is this a superpower? It is a superpower because if it's true, if my thoughts cause my feelings instead of my husband, that means I am not a victim. I cannot be a victim of an unhealthy relationship or of a toxic partner because they cannot control my emotions, right? If this is true, if my thoughts create my feelings, it is the most empowering news I could possibly get, right? I can intentionally create the kinds of relationships, the kind of life that I want. That power is mine, not somebody else's. You guys, this is so freeing. An unhealthy relationship is only a threat to you if you are a victim, if you are an emotional victim. If there's a chance that that's not true, that you just aren't a victim, that you secretly actually always have had this superpower, that your thoughts cause your feelings, if there's a chance that your emotional health is not dependent on your partner, isn't that worth investigating? If you want to learn more about this, I would encourage you to watch my free masterclass called The Relationship Foundation. It is essentially a self-love crash course that shows you how to explore these ideas, how to start investigating where your emotions really come from and how your interactions with other people do and do not create your feelings. I don't want you to take this like on my word, that your thoughts create your feelings, right? That I want you to investigate this and find out if it's true for you. That's what the Relationship Foundation Masterclass teaches you how to do. It gives you all of the tools that I use with my coaching clients so that you can start to do this work, this self-inquiry for yourself and see what comes out of it. You can also always book a free strategy session with me. I would love to talk to you about the feelings that are coming up for you in your relationship and help you sort through them and do that inquiry and navigate, understand where those emotions are coming from, how they're affecting your life, how they're affecting your relationship, and what you want to do with them. Guys, thank you so much for joining me. I hope you have a beautiful day, and I will talk to you soon.